How can you use breakfast as a way to make getting into the parks easier? We looked at that on another Fun Fact Friday. 2 days ago, we debuted our first feature video, ranking the top 5 breakfast items in Walt Disney World. If you haven't checked that out yet, go see for yourself what we picked as our top choice. But besides fueling you for a long day of walking around the parks, did you know that a breakfast reservation can actually help you get to the parks more easily? Generally speaking, the resorts at Walt Disney World don't let you just drive your car in to see them if you aren't staying there. But you are allowed to drive to a resort that you're not staying at if you have a dining reservation. And thanks to Disney's strong public transportation system, access to a hotel via your car can get you access to Disney parks via their buses, monorails, Skyliners, and even your legs. But there's a catch. You're going to have to pay to do this right. We'll explain. For example, let's say you want to go to the Magic Kingdom for the day, but you don't want to take the bus all the way from your resort. You have a car, but parking at the Magic Kingdom and waiting for trams to transport you to the front gates can be a long experience and can take away from the magic. Plus, it's just not as fun. What you could do instead is make a breakfast reservation at one of the resorts on the Magic Kingdom monorail line, Disney's Polynesian, Grand Floridian, or Contemporary resorts. If you have a reservation, you can drive to that resort, have breakfast, then take the monorail or boats to the Magic Kingdom from there. And with lots of great breakfast options like the Kona Cafe at the Polynesian or Chef Mickey's at the Contemporary, you aren't exactly suffering trying to pull this move off. But here's what we don't want you to do. Don't just park in the normal parking lot, for 2 reasons. 1, there's an inconsistently enforced rule at the resorts that even with a dining reservation, you have a 3-hour time limit for parking. Now, sometimes this is posted at the gate, other times not so much. We've heard stories of people getting towed, but it doesn't appear to be a consistently enforced penalty. But regardless, we would never recommend you take the chance. Secondly, you don't want to be those people. Even if you knew you could get away with it, you'd be taking a parking spot away from a resort guest who's actually staying at one of those resorts. And many of them, especially the Magic Kingdom resorts, have very limited parking. We all know you'd hate to be the guest who comes home from a long day at the parks and can't find a parking spot at your own resort. Talk about frustration. So how can you pull this move off legally and without ruining anybody else's good time? Well, as we said before, you're going to have to pay for it. Not all the resorts offer valet parking, but the ones relevant to our plan all do. At the Polynesian, Grand Floridian, and Contemporary, you can valet your car and there's no time limit. You'll still need the breakfast reservation to justify getting through the gates, but once you're there, you're free to use the valet. Well, not free, you have to pay, but you're allowed. And they won't be checking their watches to see how long you're there. And they have plenty of spaces, so there's no guilt. Now that cost, well, it's a whopping $33 a day. Hey, we never said this would be cheap. But if you're looking for a way to include the nostalgic magic of the monorail with a ferry to get to Magic Kingdom, but you want to avoid the crowds at the transportation and ticket center and the vast expansiveness of the parking lot, it may just be worth the price. Plus, remember, breakfast. Now this strategy would also work for Epcot, which attaches to the Boardwalk Resort, and the Beach and Yacht Club via the International Gateway. And both resorts just happen to also offer valet. A breakfast reservation at Trattoria Al Forno at the Boardwalk, or the Cape May Cafe at the Beach Club would allow you to walk right over to Epcot and bypass the crowds at the front gate. You can also hop on the Skyliner from those resorts and take it over to Disney Studios. In fact, the only park where this won't work is Animal Kingdom. So the next time you're debating whether or not you have time for a real breakfast at Disney World, don't forget to factor in how it'll help you get to the parks. It can fuel your day and add to the magic at the same time. Thanks for joining us on another Fun Fact Friday here at Bay Lake Navigators.